Hey everybody, Carl Stern here for another WhenItWasCool.com video review. As you can see, we're taking a look at a 1970s, this will be mid-1970s, 1976 or 77, 78, somewhere in there. It's hard to tell the year because they're all stamped the same, but this is a Shogun Warriors, Godzilla. And for comparison, we are going to also look at, I believe, 2013 or 2014 Godzilla from the latest movie. I have here, for size comparison, there's a 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figure. So you can see both of these are gigantic in comparison. Here, let's look at the retro one. This is the one everybody, I'm sure, is most interested in. Stands, not exactly sure exactly how tall it is. It's not hardly 2 feet tall. It's shorter than the Shogun Warriors Great Mazinga. It's in very good shape, comparatively speaking. Now, I'll talk about a few things if you're going to collect the Godzilla. These were pretty plentiful. So you're not going to have a hard time finding them. There's probably more of these produced than anything else in the Shogun Warriors line. But there are a few things to watch out for. Okay, first of all, you can see there is a color difference between the plastic. One side is darker, one side is lighter. What that probably means is this one's set in the sun at some point in time on this side rather than that side. Or it could not be. It could just be the difference in the plastic. These things, as you can tell, were molded together. Could very well have been kept, out of the sunlight the whole time, and that's just how the plastic aged naturally. So that is a thing. Of course, the fire breathing, the fire tongue comes out, and here is something that almost everyone has a broken lever on back. Mine does too. Now, you can get reproductions of these. In fact, this thing's supposed to stick out where you can mash the tongue. In fact, I can get my finger in there. You can see how it activates the fire breathing, so mine still works. It's just the levers broke off a little bit. Most of them are like that. However, you can replace that if you so desire. Mine, I want to leave mine pretty original, and since it still works, I have no real desire to replace mine. Now, the tail is also a separate piece. Sometimes it's missing, and this will have a little nub there, so you want to make sure that's there. Also, I see a lot of times these are screwed onto the bottom of the feet. A lot of these, some years were weighted. They had like a little bottle inside that had sand in it. Made it weight it down, and then some didn't. Mine doesn't have that. So sometimes kids would take these off, get the sand out of there. And then, of course, here's a big one, the fist. The fist shoots. So you can see there's a gap in mine because the spring mechanism is kind of weak. It won't hold it up there. Mine actually did not come with the fist. This is a reproduction fist. You can actually get these. I ordered them off. They look just fine. You see there's nothing at all wrong with that. The problem with the gap is not in the fist, it's in the arm, in the spring, although it does still fire off a little bit. So sometimes it fires of its own accord, but that is a new piece to go on this one. So pretty awesome. I had this thing when I was a kid, loved it. Here we have the bigger. This one is bigger. It stands a little bit taller. It's not so much taller as it is long. The tail on this thing is enormous. Check this out. And again, I'll have a 3 3/4 inch Luke Skywalker figure there for scale. The jaw works. It doesn't breathe fire, which is not as cool as the other one. Look at this. And here we go. 3 3/4 inch Luke Skywalker. It just keeps going. This tail is jointed in 2 segments where it whips around. You can turn there. It's articulated there. I mean, this thing is huge. I mean, it's so long. And so it really looks good standing up in like a display. You gotta have a lot of space to display it though, because it's so huge. Okay, so we're gonna move him out of the way and get back to the vintage guy here. Take a little closer look. Here's what I was talking about. He's on roller skates essentially. So look and make sure your wheels are all there. As you can see, they just sit down in there. Make sure the toes aren't broken off. Make sure the tail is still in place. You see it just pulls off. I'm gonna leave mine on there. Here again, you look down in there, you see the spring is pretty rusty. It's old. That's why the fist doesn't stay in there as good as it could. The face, it's awesome. I mean, that thing just looks great, doesn't it? And by the way, it's the lighting in here that makes it look a little more distinctive. Dark green, light green. It doesn't really, without the light just appearing on it, it's not so noticeable. And again, the trigger, the handle that causes it to breathe fire. And of course now it's not doing it. There we go. So again, there we go. 1970s vintage Shogun Warrior Godzilla. Hope you've enjoyed this look at the 1970s Shogun Warrior Godzilla. Again, if you had one of these as a kid, you can get them. Well, they're not cheap. You pay a couple $100 probably on there, but there are a lot of them out there in varying conditions, so pay attention to that. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch our video. WhenItWasCool.com. Please visit us for retro toy reviews and a lot more. WhenItWasCool.com.